Okay, today we're pulling back the curtain on a massive, almost silent revolution that's shaking up global trade. We're calling it the de minimis disruption.
And it all starts with a question that honestly sounds impossible. How can a $3 pair of sneakers travel halfway across the globe, cross all those borders, and just show up on your doorstep with zero shipping fees? How does that even work? But this isn't just some quirky business trick. As our source material puts it, this is a full-on race to the bottom. It's bending international trade laws, and frankly, it has some pretty serious consequences for the planet. To really get how this is possible, we've got to start with what we're calling the $3 paradox.
You know, on the surface, it looks like a miracle, right? A triumph of modern commerce. But what it really does is expose this huge gap between the slick marketing you see on your phone and the cold, hard reality of how our global economy actually functions.
And that paradox? It leads us right to the heart of the matter, the first big clue in this whole mystery, the de minimis loophole. So, what in the world is de minimis? Well, it's a specific legal term. Think of it like a price limit. If a package is valued below that limit when it comes into a country, it can just waltz right in without any of the usual customs duties or taxes. And that is the key to this entire model. Okay, so here's how different it is. Traditionally, companies would ship these giant containers full of products, and those containers get hit with heavy taxes. But with the de minimis model, these platforms are shipping millions upon millions of tiny individual packages straight to you. And since each one is valued below that magic number, they just bypass almost all of those fees.
So here's the crucial point. This isn't just about being efficient. Our source material calls it a systemic accounting trick. It creates this incredibly uneven playing field, right? It lets these massive platforms completely undercut local businesses who are stuck playing by the old, much more expensive rules.
But, this loophole is only one part of the story. To make it work at this kind of scale, you need another massive piece of the puzzle. You need the engine behind it all, the automated factory.
See, the legal loophole is like the key that opens the door. But the engine that's roaring through it, that's this unbelievable surge in manufacturing capacity and hyper-automated logistics, and a whole lot of it is coming out of the East.
And the scale of this is just staggering. Get this, in 2023, China bought more than half of all the industrial robots sold on the entire planet. That status as the world's factory, plus state-subsidized shipping, means they can make and send stuff at a speed and a price that's almost impossible to compete with.
Okay, so now we get how it's happening. But what's the actual fallout from all this? Let's talk about the true cost.
One of the biggest things our sources point to is this. Well, this cultural trade-off. We're seeing this fundamental shift away from products that are built on heritage and quality, and we're moving towards a model that just prizes tech and value over literally everything else.
And where does that lead? Well, this trade-off has a potential name. The sources suggest it could be pushing us into an era of what's being called slop commerce, basically a flood of cheap, disposable stuff that's designed to be used once or maybe for a single season, and that's it.
Does that whole pattern sound a little familiar? It should. It's kind of like shrinkflation, where the bag of chips gets smaller but the price is the same. Consumers are basically being trained to accept lower and lower standards just to get that low price up front. But while that's happening, innovation can get choked out, and all these systemic risks just keep growing quietly in the background.
So where is this all headed? Is this just the new normal, or is something else going on? Let's frame it as our final question. Is this the future, or is it a fad?
Our sources really make us ask a tough question here. Are we watching a truly stable revolution in retail and shipping, or are we just watching billions and billions of dollars get poured into a model that might be fundamentally unstable?
One analysis even compares this flood of money into ultra-low-cost logistics to past bubbles. Think about the dot-com hype or maybe even some of the current AI hype. The promise of everything for nothing often comes right before what they call a peak of inflated expectations. And, well, you know what comes after that.
So here's the bottom line. When you see that $3 item with free shipping, are you looking at the real future of retail? Or are you looking at a system that, for all its apparent magic, might just be too good to be true? The true cost, it seems, is still being calculated.